Hey, thanks for coming on this week's podcast. This week we're going to talk about personalized URLs that you get from your carriers, that you get from your uplines, and I just want to kind of clarify, what your strategy is with them, and try to give you some insight on what other producers are doing. So let me just introduce myself again. My name's Ken French. I'm the president and founder of Snoozy Incorporated. Long story short, I grew up in the insurance business, got started back in the late '90s. And back then, we used to have a family owned business. That was what you would call a general agency, a wholesaler, an FMO. Our clients were independent insurance agents who sold employee benefits, Medicare, life insurance, health insurance. To make a long story short, they made me the tech guy back then because I was the young guy. And I started to help our producers build their first websites, use agency management systems, do email marketing. To make a long story short, as the years started to kind of tick by, I started to hire programmers to help me do that stuff a lot better. And by about 2005, we had a department within the company that really just helped producers with websites and online marketing. Well, to make a super duper long story short, we sold the business right before healthcare reform in 2009. And when we did that, I took my department, we formed Snoozy Incorporated, and kept doing what we were doing. And basically, we build custom websites and help independent insurance agents with social media posting. We work specifically with independent agents. Doesn't matter what products you sell, whether it's life, health, Medicare, auto, home. We're helping someone similar. And like I said, today I want to talk about personalized URLs. And I think back to the beginning, which for me was somewhere around 2004, 2005. A few of the carriers in our area for individual health started to develop personalized URLs. And basically, it was my job to distribute them out to the independent brokers. And obviously, if the broker used the URL, anything enrolled through it, they would get credit for it. They would get compensated. Here we are now, like 15 years later, and these things have exploded. Obviously, with the last year with COVID, some of these URLs have become lifesavers for you, especially if you've been stuck at home doing this stuff online. So, right off the bat, I know a lot of people get confused. Like, where do these things come from? Well, first off, there's a lot of carriers that will give them to you when you get contracted. Certainly, a lot of the supplemental products like dental insurance, vision insurance, travel insurance, short term health insurance, those ones they've been available pretty much for 10 years, are very easy to get. Obviously, over the last 3, 4, 5 years, a lot of the uplines in the Medicare side of things have developed comparative Medicare quoting and enrollment tools for the Advantage and Part D plans. Just to name a few, Sunfire Matrix. There's one brand that has the Medicare Center. There's quite a few of them out there. Those usually are free, and your upline gives them to you. And then there's third-party companies that you can partner with who will give you these portals. If you sell ACA Health, usually Health Sherpa or Quote It are two of the main ones. If you're more on the auto and home, Easy Links is another one. In the life insurance market, there's honestly probably half a dozen of them. CompuLife is one that goes back about 10 years. There's quite a few of them out there. But my point is that just having the URL doesn't really mean much. You have to have some sort of strategy on what to do with it. And, I find a lot of producers kind of scratch their head and they go, what do I do? Do I just email this out to people? The answer is probably not. That's probably not the best idea. In my opinion, you need a strategy, and your website needs to be a very big part of this strategy because your website really brings what I would call credibility, right? It tells the whole story. Your website should tell people who you are, what products you sell, what carriers you represent. And as you're working with people, you can send them into the website where they should be able to access these personalized URLs, whether it's you doing a Zoom call and going in and walking them through it, or maybe you just help them with a Medicare supplement and this person says, well, wait a minute, my husband asked me to ask you about standalone dental. I'm not sure if I can afford it, but do you have standalone dental? Someone like that, you shouldn't be talking to them for 45 minutes on the phone. You should say, hey, look, standalone dental, absolutely. We have an option. Step one is to go to my website and, go into the shop online page. And there you can see the waiting period, see pricing, even enroll. So here's an example of a website I've designed, and you can see in the upper right-hand corner, we have a button kind of highlighted in red called Start Shopping. So just imagine if I was on the phone with someone and they were kind of saying, "Well, what about standalone dental? Yeah, I don't know if I want it, but I'd like to learn more." Like I said, doesn't make sense to be on the phone for 45 minutes with that person. Tell them, "Look, go to the website, click on Start Shopping, and you should probably check out Delta Dental. They have a great plan with a $5,000 max, whatever." You give them a little overview. That person can then come in. They will see Delta Dental. They'll click on the Shop and Apply button, and they'll go into your personalized link where they can put their zip code in, their birthday in, and they can certainly start to see all the basics of the plan. They can even enroll if they want. But today's point is to not kind of analyze each personalized URL. Today's strategy is about, well, what do you do with these portals? And I have always been a big believer for the last 15 years that these URLs should not be scattered around your website. They should all be on one page that's very, very simple. And that's kind of what I've done here in this sample is we've created a very simple shop online page. For this producer, the main focus is really the Medicare comparative rating and quoting tool. You can see if you click on that, it takes you right in where the consumer can, obviously put their zip code in, see plans, and get going. But my point is that I believe in what I call the grocery store aisle philosophy. That you send somebody in here for standalone dental. That's their initial thought. And then all of a sudden they start looking around and go, "Oh gosh, maybe my brother-in-law who just lost his job should check out this short-term medical, or we're going on a cruise in 6 months. Maybe we should check out this travel insurance stuff." It's just like the grocery store. You go in to check out. There's a little aisle there. You go to buy a stick of gum because you always get your stick of gum on Saturday morning. And then all of a sudden you look at the Snickers bar and go, that looks pretty good too. Maybe I'll buy that. And it's an impulse buy. So my point is that I'm a big believer that number one, you don't want to have a million things on this type of page. You don't want to have descriptions and overviews and plan summaries. That's kind of the point of the personalized URL. All that information is in there already. What you want is just an easy, accessible click button that takes them into the personalized URL, and off they go. And like I said, I have a lot of producers now who they've been doing a lot of stuff over the phone. And having these URLs doesn't mean you become an e-commerce center. I believe it's the complete opposite. I look at this as just efficiency. It's helping you get people information. Maybe they enroll, maybe they don't. I'm sure you have your own style to get them to the finish line, but these tools can be an asset somewhere in your process. And specifically on the Medicare side, I know a tremendous amount of producers, especially during AEP in the fall. This is what they would do. They would step one is they would have the people come to the website. They'd have them go into Zoom. They would share screens. They would go into their Medicare portal and they would just go through the options. And it was just a sales tool. Anyway, so just things to kind of think about there. So again, my suggestion is as we push forward here through 2021, I'm not telling you have to become an e-commerce company, but what I am telling you is it's now time to at least understand what these things are, where they come from, and how to obtain them. Because as we push forward through the next 2, 3, 4 years, you can bet that these things are going to triple in amount. And most carriers are probably going to go that this is the way you enroll people. So to totally be oblivious to this is probably not the best entrepreneurial game plan. I think you have to have a general understanding. And then, of course, once you have a basic understanding, maybe it fits into your style. Maybe we build it into your website and it helps you. I think that's the point. So I appreciate everyone's time. What I suggest is if you do need some help with a website or social media, certainly go to snoozy.com, check us out, learn more about what we do. As always, we'll have a new podcast next week, and hopefully I can bring you some good information. Talk to you soon and have a great day.